Good afternoon. What a magic day. My name is Michaela Bensley. I'm the Chief Executive of the SACE Board, and I'm delighted to be here with you today to celebrate the merit recipients of our incredible class of 2024. I would like to start, though, by acknowledging that we meet on the land of the Kaurna people, and their connection to this land is as important today as it ever was and always will be. We pay our deep respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and would also like to acknowledge any Aboriginal people that are here across Australia and across South Australia. I'd also like to acknowledge that we are enjoying the beautiful grounds of Government House, thanks to the generosity of Her Excellency, the Honourable Frances Adamson, Governor of South Australia. We are grateful to be celebrating the 37th merit ceremony here today. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. In the unlikely event that we have to evacuate, we'll calmly leave the tent following people who are wearing red or green caps. The bathrooms, if you need them, are behind the stage and to your left through the gardens. There's an official photographer for every merit recipient, and that'll happen here. How to access those photos is in your merit booklet. We also are recording the ceremony, and that will be on our website next week. And I think, just lastly, there'll be plenty of time at the end for you to wander around the grounds and get the special family photo. One of our staff will help you if you need as well to get all of you. So finally, welcome the Honourable Blair Boyer, Minister for Education, Training and Skills, Presiding Member of the SACE Board, Ruth Blenkiron, distinguished guests, family, friends, and most importantly, the students from the class of 2024. Welcome to the SACE Merit Ceremony. I'm so pleased that we were able to reschedule this merit ceremony following the difficult decision to postpone due to the heatwave we had in February. And it's great to see so many of you able to be here today, and I thank you for being able to make the time. In 2024, 1,182 students, through hard work and persistence, collectively achieved 1,427 subject merits across all our subject areas. The class of 2024 has shown creative thinking, leadership, both in school and outside of school, resilience and a passion for learning. Every South Australian student deserves to receive a world-class senior secondary qualification that equips them not only with academic knowledge, but also with the breadth of skills and capabilities they'll need to thrive in a world that's changing faster than ever before. With the support of your teachers, families and friends, you have completed your SACE with great success and created so many possibilities that will open doors for you both now and into the future. So to the young people we are recognising today, please take a moment to acknowledge your achievements. Congratulations, you did it. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Nick Bryce, the Deputy Chief Executive of the SACE Board. Please join me in welcoming Nick.
Thank you, Michaela. Hello, everyone, and again, welcome. It's a genuine pleasure to have you all join us today. Thank you for making the time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Honourable Blair Boyer, Minister for Education, Training and Skills. Please join me in welcoming Minister Boyer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Michaela. And could I just begin by acknowledging that we're all gathered on Kaurna land this afternoon. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Although Her Excellency is not here today, I want to make a special mention of her being willing to offer us the grounds of Government House to host today's postponed ceremony. And I want to offer my vote of thanks, please, to Michaela and Ruth and the whole SACE team for going above and beyond to make sure that those young people who we are acknowledging today didn't miss out on this really, really important opportunity, and we made sure that it could be hosted here at Government House where it absolutely should be. I want to just echo the words that Michaela said before around a lot of work that's been done around the SACE for a successive number of years to modernise it. And, what do we mean by that? What do we mean by modernising the SACE? And the anecdote that I always tell when I go to schools, and I'm fortunate enough to have the role as Education Minister to be there to cut a ribbon on a new classroom or a new school or a new building, and I try to explain to the students who are there and the staff and their parents too around why those more modern facilities are more important, I think, today than they possibly have ever been. And the anecdote that I'll share with you that I always share with them is from my own schooling experience, growing up in a very small farming community in southwest Victoria. The primary school that I went to had about 35, 38 kids when I was there. It was the same primary school that my father attended and my grandfather attended. In fact, it was the same building that we both started, all three of us started school in. And I always tell students that classroom that I sat down in for the very first time in 1987 was identical in almost every single respect to how it was in 1954 when my father sat there for the first time, and in 1915 when my grandfather sat there for the very first time. I think the only thing in that building that would have changed might have been the addition of a Gestetner machine, which some people in here will remember, young people will not, the precursor to the photocopier. Apart from that, there was exactly the same seats, the all-in-one wooden seat with the fold-up lid with a hole for an inkwell that my grandfather used, that my father used, that I used, and there was a blackboard, and that was about it. And the truth is, though, that in the time that passed between 1915 and 1987, there wasn't actually a great deal of need to change the physical environment of that classroom. Technology hadn't changed so much. I remember at primary school, there was the Apple IIe came out, and the high school would let us loan one for a week or two a year, so we could have muck around and play a few games. That was probably the extent, but there really wasn't much else that needed to be changed. Now you fast forward now into the world that young people in South Australia and Australia are growing up in, and the pace of change, as Michaela said, has accelerated so incredibly. I mean, things that were absolutely still the subject of science fiction movies and television shows when I was at primary school are now used by kids every single day. In fact, things that weren't even in the realm of science fiction are now a reality. Things like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all these things that we need to give young people an understanding of how to use safely and productively. And that's the same frame within which we should look at the SACE. We can't keep it the same. My view on this has always been a very simple and pragmatic one, and that is that we need to prepare the young people for the world that they are entering. Not the world that I entered when I finished high school in 1999, not the worlds that my father or grandfather entered, and a lot about those different worlds that has changed we may not like, and I would include myself in that own category around a whole heap of things to do with perhaps social media and electronic devices. But the reality is that they are here to stay, and young people are going to be expected and required by their employers in the years after high school to have a sound understanding of how to use them safely and how to use them productively. And if as an education system we aren't able to give them the skills to succeed and be happy in the world that they graduate into, then we have quite simply failed. We have failed in our job. It is that simple. And a lot of work has been put into making sure that the SACE is modernised in the same way. A lot of work that a lot of people here, probably for very good reasons, don't understand has taken place, including work with employers over many years to sit down with them and say, what is it that you want from people graduating high school in South Australia? What is it that you think you're getting that you think is good, that we need to keep doing? What is it that you're not getting that you need to see more of that we could address in what we're teaching in our leaving certificate? And lots of things that will not be a surprise to people here come up around things like resilience and problem solving and the things we call soft skills around communication skills. And that stuff's really important because whether you like it or not, there's a whole lot of things that we've, up until now, assumed that, our graduates need to know how to do that in some cases will be done by a machine or by a computer. And the skills that the world and employers are looking for from human beings have changed a little bit. And they do need to be around our ability still to communicate with people, still our ability to work in a team and perhaps You might be sitting next to someone in your workplace who's not going to end up being your best friend for life, and you have to accommodate that and be able to get along with them. Resilience, not falling at the first hurdle, all these kind of things are the things we hear back from employers and industry around what they would like to see South Australian people graduating high school with in terms of skills and capabilities and attributes. And what I want to say, particularly to the young people who have obviously really excelled here at the highest level, is that we have done a lot of work in this state on making sure that the skills that come along with the SAFE certificate you get, and of course the merits you're being awarded with today, that make sure you are set up for the world that you are entering. And I think that is a really important thing. And I want to acknowledge, the work that you have done, that you're being awarded for here today. You are a fantastic reflection on our entire education system here in South Australia, and I know that you are inspiration for other students at the schools that you have come from about how well you can do and how you can excel, and that is a very, very important thing. But I also want to acknowledge all those who have joined these young people here today to share in their success and to acknowledge what they've done and the work that you have all done as teachers and parents and grandparents and carers to support them through this time. This is a very, very, very special occasion today. And it is always humbling for me as the Education Minister to come along and award prizes and merits to people who I know that in future years we're going to read about, who go on to do amazing things for our state. So thank you for everybody here, particularly to SAFE for accommodating the change, and to Government House and Her Excellency, but particularly for all of you who've changed your plans and made sure you could still be here today with these amazing young people. Thank you very much.
We are very appreciative of the Honourable Minister's time, care and inspiring words, so thank you so much for making the time today. I would now like to invite Minister Boyer to remain on stage as we begin the presentation to recipients of subject merits. I ask that you reserve your applause until all students have been introduced. Matilda Kane, a merit for General Mathematics. Harry Kokoschki, General Mathematics. Aman Kalro, Mathematical Methods. Joshua Kemmerman, Industry and Entrepreneurial Solutions. Georgina Karatinos, Activating Identities and Futures. Anton Konstantin Kastanos receives a merit for Research Project B. Angeline Kaur also receives a merit for Research Project B. Ashmeet Kaur, Spiritualities, Religion and Meaning. Sahibjot Kaur, Spiritualities, Religion and Meaning. Louis Kellaway, a merit for Economics. Keredwin Charlotte Kellerman Williams, a merit for German Continuers. Nisa Khanna, a Research Project B merit. Rosie Kenlott, Activating Identities and Futures. Charlotte Kibble, Child Studies. Isaac Kildare receives a merit for English. Emily Joo-hee Kim, Physics. Eugenia Kim receives 2 merits, one for English, the other for Research Project B. Kathy Kim also receives 2 merits, Music Performance Solo and Society and Culture. Shi-on Kim, English. Matilda Kimber, Integrated Learning A. Molly King, Integrated Learning B. Gemma Kirchner, Activating Identities and Futures. Ava Sky Knowling, Activating Identities and Futures. Ella May Koch, Activating Identities and Futures. And Zoe Korber also receives a merit for Activating Identities and Futures. Lydia Korach, Research Project B. Madison Kravinskis, Outdoor Education. Ellen Lynn Crane, Creative Arts. Nigel Kumar, Activating Identities and Futures, and also a merit for Psychology. Olivia Lai, Activating Identities and Futures, and a merit for Physical Education. Zara Ann Hamilton Lane, Modern History. Inara Dawn Lang, Activating Identities and Futures. Rachel Emma Lang, General Mathematics. Emma Laslett, Activating Identities and Futures. Micah Grace Langsford, General Mathematics. Boy Van Luwatley, Research Project B. Huyn Bao Nguyen Lee, Activating Identities and Futures. Yu Yen Ni Lee, Essential English. Isabella Lease, Psychology. Alice Diane Lee receives 2 merits, one for legal studies, the other for modern history. Victoria Lee, Research Project B. Jacody Wilhelm Lehman, Visual Arts, Art. Ruby Frederica Lehman, Activating Identities and Futures. Ruby Mathilde Longmore, Material Solutions. Zoe Leslie receives a merit for English Literary Studies. Matilda Lewis, Activating Identities and Futures. Amy Georgia Lynn, Material Solutions. Rosie Lulius, Physical Education. Eliana Lloyd for Scientific Studies. Mitchell Loschek, Digital Communication Solutions. Jasmine Isabella Lowe, Research Project B. Robert Luckhurst Smith, Material Solutions. Abby Jane Luttrell, Cross-Disciplinary Studies. Victoria Mackay, Activating Identities and Futures. Michael Macris, Activating Identities and Futures. Julian Piers Maddock receives a merit for music performance solo. Alana Madriz Figueroa receives 2 merits, English Literary Studies and General Mathematics. Ava Mayos, Activating Identities and Futures. Sienna Matzarapis, English. Lucinda Marks, Activating Identities and Futures. Edwina Lucy Marshman, 2 merits, General Mathematics and Physical Education. Carla Martel receives a merit for Research Project B. Erin Grace Martin, General Mathematics. Isla Susanna Marton, English Literary Studies. Katie Maxted, Psychology. Ella Maxwell, Health and Wellbeing and also Spiritualities, Religion and Meaning. Layla Main, Child Studies. Juliet Grace Mazur, Integrated Learning A. Finn Francis McArdle, Research Project B. Georgia Elise McAvaney, Health and Wellbeing and also Workplace Practices. Charlotte Jean McCarthy, a Merit for Visual Arts, Art. Mitchell McDonald, Workplace Practices. James McFarlane receives a merit for Agricultural Systems and also a merit for English. Bridie McElduff, Integrated Learning B. Delilah Grace McMahon, Research Project B. Cooper McNeil receives a merit for Creative Arts. Emma McPhail receives a merit for General Mathematics. Akani Mears, Activating Identities and Futures. Rati Menon, Research Project B. Amaya Middleton, Research Project B. Nicole Minev, Activating Identities and Futures. Holly Ann Miller, Physical Education. Charlize Rosalind Millard, Research Project B. Poppy Milligan also receives a merit for Research Project B. Micah Mitrich, Mathematical Methods. Riley Modra, Activating Identities and Futures. Urwa Muhoiddin, Activating Identities and Futures. Zaya Momin, Activating Identities and Futures. Madison Montgomery, Biology. Antonio Morabito, Integrated Learning B. Anesi Morrison, Research Project B. Balsa Khalid Mosley, Research Project B. Jordan Eve Raven Moulding, Business Innovation and also a merit for Spiritualities, Religion and Meaning. Elizabeth Muccianti, Italian continuers. Nadia Moody, activating identities and futures. Monty Mulger, mathematical methods. Jaden Bailey Mullins, activating identities and futures. Jai Elijah Nab, a merit for psychology. Lily Naguib, activating identities and futures. Zara Naziri, Research Project B. Annie Nelson, activating identities and futures. Matilda Ruby Nettle, activating identities and futures. Alexandra Hai Mai Nguyen, dance. Annabelle Tran Tam Ho Nguyen receives a merit for child studies. Carolyn Nguyen, activating identities and futures. Elizabeth Tu May Nguyen, activating identities and futures. Emily Nguyen, activating identities and futures and also a merit for physical education. Martin Tien Vinh Nguyen, spiritualities, religion and meaning. Mi Na Nguyen, Research Project B. Amity Neild, General Mathematics and also a merit for physical education. Erin Noble, Food and Hospitality. Zoe Isabella Norman receives a merit for activating identities and futures. Blake James Nicky, General Mathematics. Bridget Campbell, activating identities and futures. Shyla Kelly receives 2 merits, Integrated Learning A and Research Project B. Maria Leese, English Literary Studies and Modern History. Vanika Thakur, Research Project B. Chelsea Newitt also receives a merit for Research Project B. Sky Nagel, Outdoor Education. Esther Laurie receives 2 merits, French Continuers and Modern History. Niranjana Karthikeyan, activating identities and futures. Mitchell Matamei, English. Mackenzie Mulvihill receives a merit for psychology. Louis Mateo, health and well-being. And Zach Nyengheim for research project. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please join me in congratulating all the students who have received their subject merits today. Once again, we thank the Honourable Minister for his time, for his care, for his kind words that he delivered to the class of 2024 at the beginning of these proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the official proceedings. On behalf of the SACE Board of South Australia, thank you for attending this special celebration with us today. As you exit, please enjoy the grounds of Government House to take photographs to capture the moment, as Michaela pointed out earlier. Congratulations once again to all the young people who have achieved excellence in their SACE. You should be incredibly proud, just as your parents, loved ones are, and just as we are at the SACE board as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.